we are. It's Audio Mullet. Everybody's hair is flowing in the wind. Lightning is striking in the sky. There's a hawk flying overhead. Yeah. And there's Doug Tnaple riding towards me on two sharks. Hi, Doug.
I love my sharks, steeds. Oh, good job, Pinky. Lisa, you can go now. Thank you for carrying me to Ethan. Ethan, here, hold my my 20-foot long sword. Hold this sword.
Oh, that's heavy. Dang, where'd you get that thing forged?
I stole it from some god. He turned his head. Probably Poseidon.
Chopped his beard off.
You like my
Cool.
helmet?
Yeah, I love it. What kind of horns are those?
They're bicycle horns. What? I don't even know what that is. What is a bicycle horn? It's a bicycle. You like honk,
you squeak it, yeah.
Like bicycle horn.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh.
Well, that went downhill fast.
Yeah. Hey, look, we're on Audio Mullet. What'd you do this week?
I don't know.
Did you see the Joker?
Oh yeah, I did. Did you see it?
No, it was so good, dude. We've been doing these fake reviews all the time, and I've been tearing into it. Now I really like it.
It was actually better than you thought it'd be.
Yeah, a lot better. That Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, he's good.
Can act.
He really can act. You feel it.
He looks
when
really
acts.
skinny.
Mm-hmm.
His hair's all greasy and green. Wait, was it green?
Yeah, right. Joker has green hair.
I mean, we saw it.
Yeah.
We saw it so hard. It was the best.
He's getting the manic panic. He's putting it in his hair.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm a psycho.
Yeah, there were lines of people in front of me. They were all going, you know what I love more than Joker? In-N-Out Burger. Everyone likes In-N-Out Burger, right? We love In-N-Out Burger. We love the Joker. Isn't Star Wars feminism SJWs lame? I hear they're going to have two women kiss. Let's all hate it.
Wait, so is that what Star Wars is going to do? They're going to have women kissing?
I think so. I've heard. I don't know. Everyone's all
boycott it.
Wow. They're like, what is it? Like 20 years after gay people started going out in public. Now they're going like, and two chicks are going to kiss. My question is, who's even straight in the Star Wars universe? I mean, 3PO's obviously fruity.
Yeah, clearly.
You hear how he talk. Oh.
R2-D2's probably straight.
No, he's the butch. He's the man of the two. You can tell, like he's the bear. He's like all quiet and soft spoken. Oh, let's go to the theater. I want to go see Hamilton. No, Kinky Boots. Let's go see the Book of Mormon. Okay.
We've almost made it through all the characters I know in Star Wars. So, yeah. But yeah, we didn't see Joker.
No.
In case it's not obvious.
Because we're still happily married family men with stuff to do.
Yeah, we still have lives to manage.
Yeah.
I'm pitching, probably by the time this comes out, I'll have pitched it, but I'm pitching a monster truck show to Mattel.
Ooh.
I got
To who?
Mattel, like Hot Wheels monster trucks. I sent like 10 ideas to this studio that I would work with, Stupid Buddy Studios. You know Chris over there? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah, I've met those guys. I love those guys.
Yeah. Yeah. So he said, "Hey, you got any ideas on a monster truck show?" And so I sent him like 10 ideas, and they pitched those to Mattel, and then Mattel liked one of my ideas. They had a few different writers' ideas, and anyway, so they're going to bring me in, and I'm going to go in and we're going to see what they think. So who knows?
Oh, that's
monster
brilliant.
truck show.
Yeah, those Stupid Buddies guys, they did a little, not the Hot Wheel one, but it had a little car, little hot rod going around on these little sets, and it shot a deer, had a little rocket on it. This is probably 10 years ago. Huh. Great puppet animation. Those guys
they
are the
do Robot Chicken.
Yeah, they did Robot Chicken.
Yeah.
Yep. I was coming up with an idea with them. We were just talking. Nothing ever came of it, but I just liked those guys, and I liked their studio. And I got to see them working on Robot Chicken. They were actually shooting stuff for it. It's good.
Yeah, it's really cool in there. There's so many, all these little armatures and stuff everywhere. Cool environment.
Yeah, did you see, was it all still buffed out like a log cabin? The lobby where they had like log cabins in a Winnebago was their office or something.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that. I like those guys. It's in Burbank. See, you're in LA. You get to do all the cool stuff. Out here in Tennessee where there's no stop motion.
Yeah, what do they think stop motion is in Tennessee?
I think stop motion is still illegal out here. I think we're trying to get it legalized.
Putting your hand up to somebody, that's a stop motion.
Yeah, this is your stop motion.
This is your stop motion, and then this is your go motion, where you put your thumb right here and wiggle it a bit.
Go motion, like this. Yeah. It's like when you're hitchhiking. Go, go, go. All right, well, we're going to talk about verses in the Bible I'm trying not to hate. Verses in the Bible.
What are verses in the Bible you're trying not to hate?
This is your idea, not mine.
It's not. It was on our list that somebody put it on. It was either you or Mike that put it on there, but I think it sounds like the way you talk. No,
it's you. It was you.
You think it was me?
Verses in the Bible I'm trying not to hate? I don't generally, I like all the really bad verses in the Bible. Like when when the two kids make fun of the bald guy and the bear swallows him up. I love those.
I love that one.
And you're like going, wait, how can a bear swallow two kids? Come on, wouldn't one of them run away? That's not very realistic.
Let's see. Let's find out about. I'll just do a list of the worst Bible verses.
Yeah, worst Bible verses. Look that one up. Or that like King David slayed like a bunch of 800,000 million people with the jawbone of an ass, and you're going like, wait a minute, how can the molecules in the jawbone hold up? Hacking a bunch of men.
Oh, yeah. But that's great. I love that one.
Oh, okay. You love that one. I love it too. I'm just saying the ones that I hate are the ones that don't sound realistic. Because I go like, wait a minute.
So we'll do Bible verses that this person is trying not to hate. It's news24.com. I don't know where I got this. What this is. The 14 most abominable Bible verses.
All right. Bring them out. Let's get
ready.
Yeah.
Number 1, God himself will kill tens of thousands if it pleases him. 1 Samuel in the King James Version. And he smote the men of Beth Shemesh because they had looked into the ark of the Lord. Even he smote of the people 50,000 and 70 men.
Yeah. You know what?
Kill 50,000 men for looking at something? That's what they added.
I like that verse. Because maybe when God says, don't look at it, you shouldn't look at it. Isn't that the point?
Yeah. Is that like the God equivalent of like when you do the little okay hand symbol, but down on your pants?
Yeah.
And when somebody looks at it, you like smack them?
Yeah. Like I'm doing the okay symbol right now. It's supposedly a racist symbol. Does this make me into a racist?
Apparently.
I guess. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, that's a rough verse. Yeah. He did, you look in the ark and you're like, well, wait. At one point they were moving the ark and it had slid. The men stumbled and it had slid off its case, and some men reached over to grab it to steady it, like they're trying to help the ark, and they were struck dead.
Wow.
It's like the least fair. Like, what if a kid was tricking another kid and goes, hey, look over there, it's the ark, and he looked at it and you'd be struck dead.
Yeah. I mean, I get it from the perspective of I don't know. I always have a tough time getting outraged at God killing people, because if he is the author and creator and right and wrong and all that stuff is in his hands, and he knows where people go and what's happening. It's just, to me, right. It's like mixing paint on a palette when you're a painter. Like, the paint might not enjoy being all mixed and smushed around or whatever, but he has a picture in mind here. So I don't know. I don't know if that's very Calvinist of me.
It's just a law that he is the source of good. He's the highest definition of the good and love. So if he does it, that is by definition what the most loving being in the world would do. And so then we call out by our culture's anti-God standards, which are that God is on trial and he has to impress me with my amazing righteousness. And I'd go, well, I wouldn't do that. But I'm not the source and definition of good. So something tells me all these verses are going to go down that.
Yeah, that path. Well, here's what
Troy, are you saying that the whole subject matter is already a bust because verses in the Bible I'm trying not to hate?
I'm not going to lie it is. I mean, the verses where lots of people are killed is always a struggle, but at the same time, it's I guess we've already. Usually if you're a serious thinking Christian, you thought about this stuff quite a bit. You don't just take it lightly.
Yeah, like I'm trying not to hate the one that says that you have to take care of orphans and widows. That gets me off the couch.
Wait, this could be fun though. Let's go to the next one here. Perversity. Oh no, you can kill a woman if she seizes a man's private parts without his permission. If two men are fighting and the wife of one of them comes to rescue her husband from his assailant and she reaches out and grabs him by his nuts.
You shall cut off her hand, show her no mercy. That's Deuteronomy 25, 11, and 12.
Wait, cut off her hand's not killing her. That's just cutting her hand off. Where are they getting this? You can kill a woman.
Well, back then they'd bleed out because they see them all as cavemen. They see them as primitive, dumb people.
But why would a woman grab a man by the junk in the middle of a fight? I've always tried to understand that one. Do you know what the context of that is? Would it be like to knock him down? Like she thinks.
I think grabbing a guy by the junk is to threaten his offspring and his family. Is to threaten his posterity, like his future. It's a serious, grave thing. So if two men are fighting, and she reaches out, it must have been a thing back then. Maybe it was a thing. Yeah,
this is the kind of stuff I really want the context because it seems like a very strange. It seems like a really specific thing happened once, and they're like, "We got to write a law for it." This woman just grabbed this guy's junk.
Yeah, and all the guys are reading it.
We can't have that again.
Yeah, of course.
Like
these women are always grabbing guys by their junk when their husbands are getting into arguments.
She grabbed him.
It's happening all the time.
He slipped on a banana peel. Things got messed up, and we can't be having this happen. So.
Yeah, what if you were like a guy that really wanted your enemy's wife to grab your junk? You'd get in a fight with him, and then she'd grab your junk. And
that's your fetish?
Like, yeah. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, we're going to cut off her hand. We're going to punish her.
Does the guy get to keep the hand? I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah, it's stuck there for life.
Yeah, it's clawed on there.
Times were different then. It was like a permanent thing.
Jock strap. Wow.
Yeah, some of those things there's got to be a bigger wisdom teacher kind of thing teaching there.
We shouldn't be the ones talking about this.
Yeah, I feel like I'm commenting on someone else's. I don't know.
Perversity and human trafficking. Slaves be subject to your masters with all reverence, not only to those who are good and equitable, but also those who are perverse.
Yeah, that's Peter. Paul, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think
so slavery was big then. It wasn't race based, but it was indentured servitude probably. Mm-hmm. But Paul doesn't go on his big woke rant and say, "We got to stop this slavery." Instead, he says, masters, be cool to your slaves, and slaves, there is a way to conduct yourself with your masters.
Yeah, yeah, and we talked about this before.
Like if you're working for the Lord.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it has that word has so many connotations now you can't even say it. But yeah, the indentured servitude. It's like it was. The way things were back then, like we talked about in a recent episode.
Yeah,
that it may have been more humane to keep a slave than to just kill everybody when you conquered a village or whatever happened. Giving people, at least they're alive, but they're you can't afford to have giant prisons with security guards and all this stuff in a
yeah. But what about in American slavery?
Part of the culture.
You can imagine the slave owners were using this verse all over their slaves.
Well, I do think that this verse is for the.
It probably doesn't apply, right?
What do you mean?
To race-based slaves, like, isn't the right thing to do for them to run away? Isn't it? Don't we generally believe it was cool if they ran away?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, because I am curious about contextually what the difference is between the two versions of what the slaveries are, like, rather than being sold like property.
Yeah. Well, and Jewish customs, they had like the year of Jubilee, where if you didn't work off your debt every 7 years, you'd be freed. They'd free you.
That's a little different.
Times were different.
Once again, I'm not qualified to get this, but I do think that
this is the thing about being a person of faith is I don't get what's so hard about seeing those verses in a slightly different context and seeing that they're not just the big golden bullet that they think they are.
I always have a hard time with judging past cultures from our position. That it's really they put us here. And
that reminds me of that other verse of don't tear down a fence if you don't know what it's for. What's that verse?
That's G.K. Chesterton.
I've heard. Yeah, but it's also Prager has quoted it. It's like it's wrong to take down a fence. And you go like, well, why? What's wrong with taking down a fence? Oh, because it could be like holding a bowl in a pen and
Hydra.
The idea that we would tear something down when we don't know what it stood for which those verses could be one of those fences. We don't understand the context, but we're ready to tear them down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll give you a verse because all those verses you're going to read is from an woke atheist sites. They're all lame. Yeah. Automatically, they're automatic, incoherent. They're automatic straw men. Remember, atheists only make straw man arguments.
Right.
So I'll give you a good verse that I'm trying not to hate. No, I'll hear your take on it. So you know the verse about love your enemies or do good to those who curse you or whatever, and it's like pouring hot coals on their head. Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with that verse?
Yeah.
I can try to find it. You'll take my word for it. I try not to hate that verse because it sounds like it's saying do something loving because the benefit is vengeance.
I've heard the context of that before. It's actually not that. It's like, I wish I remember. I remember somebody explaining to me really well. It had something to do with the custom.
The burning hot coals on their heads?
Yeah. Well, we got to, because
it sounds like it's saying like, yay, burn hot coals on their heads and do good for them because it's going to be great when you burn those hot coals on their head.
Now I'm trying to like look it up real quick.
Yeah, you'll never find it. This show will be long over.
I know.
So like that's a verse that I assume, I got to learn more about it to figure out. I'd like to hear a few different takes on that. Maybe send me the link. We can go back into it.
If you're hungry, his enemy feed him. If he is thirsty, give him something to drink. In doing this, you'll heap burning coals on his head. Let's see. I don't know.
This out.
I don't know. I mean, I wish I could remember. Somebody explained it to me. And it was like, oh, and I forgot it. That happens to me all the time.
Okay.
You burped. Yeah. I'm not editing anything out, so your burp's staying.
Yeah. That was my commentary. I'm going to do my commentary, audio commentary of the Bible. I'm just going to be burping. I do want to do a Doug TeNapel, my amazing Doug TeNapel Bible comment.
It'll mostly be fake Joker reviews.
Yeah, it'll all be me pretending to know what I'm talking about. I'll be like, in the Koine Greek, the original Aramaic meant this.
I'm not reading this because I have a problem with it as much as it's these Deuteronomy laws. If your genitals have been damaged, stay out of church. He that is wounded in the stones or hath his privy member cut off shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord.
Yeah.
Wounded in the stones.
Yeah.
I just love that phrase.
Kicked in the nuts.
Been wounded in the stones. Who hasn't been wounded in the stones? Yeah.
Well, but that's easy enough to figure. I would think that's easy enough to figure out. It just means like it's. And I've heard Prager make some of these kinds of arguments before that that it really showed the value that God has for your ability to reproduce. Is it's a verse that's talking about something else, and we take all these laws as literal, and they're kind of hypothetical. Mm-hmm. Like the verse on if your kid blasphemes the Lord or whatever, you'll kill it. It's not that they expected you to kill your kid. It was to show how precious obeying God, obeying the Sabbath or whatever, or not cursing your parents was. The verse is saying it's very serious. Mm-hmm. So that's a poetic way that they'd say it. And then in modernity, which removes the ability to understand wisdom because you take everything literally. So we got thinner in the way that we think after the 1900s after modernity came out. Mm-hmm. And it did other things like C.S. Lewis warns that it ruins the fairy tale. Like they can't properly write or read fairy tales or analogies and things like that. It starts to break language down. Mm-hmm. That's also that brought in postmodernism with Derrida and Wittgenstein and all these guys that broke language. That's what screwed up Scott Derrickson when he was at Biola. Was he said they broke words. Like after a while, you can't even think in postmodernity. And then it was Chesterton's orthodoxy that the professor gave him a copy of Orthodoxy and said, deconstruct this. and he read it. And it was like, he found this amazing argument, form of argument and humor in Chesterton. Mm-hmm. I met with guys and we read some Everlasting Man this morning at a coffee house here. Yeah, we've been going through Everlasting Man. Man, that's tough to get through, dude.
Yeah, it's a hard one.
Chapters.
Yeah, they're really long. It's nice when when his chapters get long, it's harder because at least when you can get to the end of one, it's when it's a long one, you get to the end, and you don't even want to talk because you're so tired.
Yeah,
or there's so much you can't keep track of it. You know.
So we have breakfast on Saturdays when the one guy. He's an anesthesiologist, so when he gets a Saturday off, we do a Chesterton reading in public.
Nice.
And it's good. But I was so hungover, I had a little too much. A neighbor, our Catholic neighbor, came over and he brought a bottle of rye.
Oh, yeah?
And we got through most of it. It was a pretty rough night. I woke up this morning, I felt half dead.
Oh, yeah. Do you remember how you got home, or did you just wake up?
No. They walked over. They're neighbors, so he walked over here and brought a bottle of rye. So it was in my own house. But by about 10 o'clock at night, I was like, I hope I can make it to bed in the other room.
We did get an email, somebody asking about whiskeys that you or that we like.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a huge whiskey connoisseur, but yeah, this is like in the middle of our supposed Bible verses episode.
Yeah, but versus I'm done with that anyways. What's your give me your top 3.
Top 3 whiskeys?
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm not a connoisseur, but if I'm going to go to the store,
I'm asking what you drink, not what
I buy a really good scotch, a really good bourbon. I don't know what I'm kind of generic on my scotch. I know that I like just like a good Johnny Walker. What's the good label?
Johnny Walker Black.
Yeah, black's like the really blue's the rare one, right? Which one's the really rare one?
They're all just whatever snotty. They have red, they have blue. They probably have platinum or something for $8 million.
Anyway,
I think black is the go-to.
I don't drink a lot of whiskey.
Mezzanine Walker Black. It's Johnny Walker Mezzanine is the middle level.
I'm too cheap. The funny thing is, I smoke cigars and they're expensive, but because you can get one at around $10-12 or whatever, I don't feel bad spending $10 or $12, even though it's going to be on one cigar.
Yeah,
a bottle of whiskey is always going to be around. Yeah, a good bottle of whiskey is at least going to be around what, like $30 or something at least.
Yeah,
20, 30 bucks, $20, $30 more.
$34. Yeah,
and I don't know why that I have a tough time buying that. I don't know why. That's like
and you
my
can't
price
get
range
through
for
that bottle
indulgence.
in 40 minutes, or you'd die.
Even though it's just a couple of cigars. But yeah,
my dad's been hooking me up with these cheap sticks out of Colorado, $2 each, and they're pretty good. They're unlabeled, but they're pretty good. Yeah. You get 25 at a time, $50 for 25 cigars. They're good.
Wow. So yeah, I like bourbon and scotch generally. But I can't be more specific. I'm no Brian.
Johnny Walker Black. Anything else? Any other brands? Give me 2 more brands.
I can't remember the name. I mean, I know I've had Knob Creek and I liked that. I don't know. I'm the worst person to talk to about this.
Okay, I do. Wild Turkey 101 is probably my top drink. I like Monkey Shoulder.
Oh yeah, I've had that. It's pretty good.
Buffalo Trace. Angie's the big Monkey Shoulder girl. We have, what happened was we visited this family in Scotland who are friends of ours, Norm Stone, the BBC. Okay. He's a director for BBC. We stayed at his farmhouse in Scotland and he had like probably 20 empty bottles of Monkey Shoulder.
Really?
And so Angie and he are buddies. And so she started, every time we drain a Monkey Shoulder, she keeps it in the pantry now. So we have a good 12 bottles collecting. So we're going to try to outdo Norm Stone one of these days. So we do a lot of Monkey Shoulder. We do like I said, Wild Turkey 101, which I got from that idea from Mike Nelson. That's his favorite sip and drink. And then Buffalo Trace is just kind of a normal, cheap, good go-to. I'm not a big fan of Maker's Mark or Knob Creek. Are the two that I kind of regularly avoid. We do Elijah Craig. I always call it Elijah Wood, but it's Elijah Craig. We do Larceny. Do you guys have Larceny out there?
I don't know.
I think it might be a local.
Like I said, I so rarely buy whiskey. My most experience with whiskey is drinking stuff that Brian would bring. Or everybody would bring stuff, but
Brian Battles.
Yeah, he'd bring it to our Chesterton group, and he'd always be, "Oh, this is a rare one that just came out, and everybody bought them up, and I got one of them."
Yeah, Lefroy. He'd bring that Lefroy, that peat moss. They taste like a decomposing mermaid on a rotting log. The ones that have a lot of peat in them really have kind of that. It's like skanky garden taste.
Huh.
The peat, the ones that are filtered through peat. Peat moss.
I did not know that they did that. That's gross.
Yeah. I'm in Tennessee, so this is like...
Yeah, you're in bourbon country.
I'm in bourbon land, man. Well, so there's all these little... What's the other one? Willet? Willet. I've been to their distillery here. They have tours. What about Jack Daniels? Can you drink that anymore?
I've had it.
That's kind of the bottom end.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about it.
Yeah. My dad's real big on Canadian Mist, and I don't like that stuff either. He'll get that. I was always a Jack Daniels guy is what got me into whiskey. But now it's pretty much Wild Turkey is my main go-to. Basil Hayden is another one that Angie gets all the time. Basil Hayden.
I don't know. You guys have time to drink all this stuff.
Dude, we put away a lot of whiskey, man.
I guess so.
We usually do...
You host a lot of people too. I mean, get out here.
It's one shot. If we do one, it's one shot before bed. Many nights. So not every night, but nights where you feel extra good. You get out the...
My wife's into wine, so I got her one of those wine subscriptions where she keeps telling him what one she liked and didn't like, and they kind of try to make it fit her palate.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we do red. She does red wine. I do red wine sometimes. Beers now and then. I like
red wine. With dinner, I'll do red wine. I'll always drink beer either with lunch or dinner. With dinner, if we break out the wine, I always get the box wine. I go because I can get it at any supermarket, and I'll get a Merlot. I like the dark, kind of less sweet tasting wines, red wines.
Yeah, we like Cabernet.
White. Yeah, cabs. Chesterton drank. I just found out he almost exclusively drank Bordeaux. Oh no, that was Alquist said that.
Yeah, that's right.
Drinks a Bordeaux. I've been to Bordeaux, France, to a vineyard.
That's where Mike went. I don't know if he ever came back. He went to France.
And he was. I know he doesn't talk. He doesn't talk to us anymore. What happened to Mike?
I'll even send emails like, "Hey, we're going to do another show." And he's like, doesn't reply.
He doesn't know. Yeah. And I always get on my feed, I get the Like Trees Walking podcast.
Mm-hmm.
He's still doing that with Pastor. Guess we're not a Pastor Bergie kind of friend.
Yeah. Who's this Bergie guy? He didn't even know him. He moved out there. And now they're bosom buddies.
Audio Mullet says Bergie's a fraud. Tell that Bergie guy we're calling him out.
We're calling you out, Bergie.
Yeah, and you're always rapping. I challenge you to a rap battle.
I was pretty impressed, though, when he played his rap one time on there. I was like,
okay.
They're pretty good.
Maybe I won't throw down because I'll just...
He had music from his old band, the rap band.
Yeah, maybe I don't want to go... Maybe I don't want to pick that fight.
Yeah, be careful what you ask for.
Yeah, careful what you wish for. Okay, is that... Oh.
So we have another one, horror stories from singlehood.
Yeah,
right?
Horror stories from... This is for all the single guys out there. Horror stories from when you were single.
Which basically my whole life up through being single was horrible.
Yeah, it's awful.
From the moment your sex drive kicks in, it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
So that's my strongest argument I would say
it kicked in. I was probably 13 or 14 when
I was around 13.
The car started.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so do you think that your singleness, was it particularly horrible because of your view of marriage? That marriage is important?
I do think that, I mean, it was hard being, yeah, I mean, I guess it was hard being single because, and I was waiting for marriage. So yeah.
Yeah.
But I wasn't convinced that would make it. I didn't think that it was going to solve it if I just went and started sleeping around. That just create a whole other issue, slew of problems, which I would see people constantly, going through.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to do that either, so yeah. I mean, it was, it was the feel, but there's also the other part of it, like, just like the weird things you do when you get like a crush on a girl, and how weird it like takes over you.
Yeah.
Become like obsessed
absolutely.
with people. Become a psycho.
I was the most obsessive compulsive when I was in love with a girl.
Yeah, I was bad.
It was like weird. Yeah. My whole universe became that girl.
I was the guy who wrote really long letters and kept bringing them to her.
Yeah, me too. I would do like all these works of art and just like the goofiest, and it was always, I would always find kind of a shy, available girl because she had to be in my league. So I never fell in love with like the girl that was way out of my league. I knew better. My heart wouldn't allow me to do that. But then if I found one that was available, so it was often like this, like a mousy, quiet girl who no one paid attention to, I'd go like, there's my shot. Yep. And then the whole universe revolved around her, and I would just like overwhelm them with because the other thing is I'm so binary, like it's an on-off switch, right? So I was never looking for just someone to chum around with. Mm-hmm. That's what it feels like. The people that talk about dating like it's nothing, like they're just kind of like, I'm gonna date something, whatever.
Yeah, like dating like 3 or 4 people.
It was like, I got to find me a wife.
Yeah,
I don't want to go through life alone. Was why I was dating.
Yeah, it's kind of was too. Like I didn't get the whole casual dating thing where you're dating a few different people. Yeah, they're just almost like kind of entertainment, Yeah.
Chick, take her, leave her. It was never that.
Yeah. For me, it was always like the heavens opened up and a light beamed upon you, and you are the chosen one that God has for me. And I'm like, bringing God into it.
So I remember asking a girl to the prom. I think it was my senior year of high school, and I think she was a junior, and I was horrified, and I was madly in love with her, and which was purely in my mind, of course. I don't think she even knew I existed. And I remember going like practicing, rehearsing, and the date kept coming closer and closer. Well, I have to ask her to the prom. I remember her remember when the girls would wear the sports jerseys of the football players, the team numbers? Yeah. And she wore, some guy on the team's number, and I like studied him.
The like jealousy.
She didn't even like him, by the way. She just wore his number. But I'm like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
What's he made of? Why his number?
Yeah. Oh man, that jealousy. That's totally alive.
Yeah. Crazy. And then I remember her friend came back to talk to me when I was about to drive home, and I said, "Hey, go ask her if she'll go to the prom with me." Mm-hmm. And she went back up to their car where she was a passenger and said, asked her whatever. And she came back and she said, no, she's not going to, she's going to go. She's just going to go with friends. She's not going to go with anyone. And I just went, I was just ruined.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I went home and I think I cried to my mother. That's how wussy I was. I remember her patting my back and I kind of blew up the whole frustration thing going, I don't want to go through life alone. And she put her hand on my back. She said, you won't go through life alone. Mm-hmm. And I remember like not believing her. Like, you don't understand.
Me and you had almost the same conversation back when I was single.
Yeah.
Remember you said, yeah, you'll get married sometime. To you, it was like nothing. Like, you'll get married someday. I'm like,
yeah.
And I'm like,
if I can do
almost
it,
30.
Look
and
at
I'm
me,
like,
Ethan.
Like, yeah,
Look
easy for you to say. You got an awesome wife and kids. I'm all alone.
That's what all my single guys say. They go, you got the most beautiful woman in the world. Easy for you to say. And I'm like, you don't understand. Look at me. I got the most beautiful woman in the world. And then see, did you not get married to the most beautiful woman in the world?
I did.
Okay, so I was speaking fact.
Yeah, you were.
Fact.
My worst, one of the worst ones, because I was basically an adult. I was in my 20s for this one. I was working for our mutual friend, Eric Peterson.
Yeah.
And I had moved to California, and I'd really hit a low point of my loneliness, like just really lonely. I was living in that tiny room out there, and things weren't going great with my career, everything I was trying to do. And I was working.
You suddenly took off to Arizona. You were working for Eric in Arizona.
I was working for Eric.
Going, Ethan's out in Arizona?
Yeah, because he had a company in Arizona, and I was doing this work for him.
Yeah.
And there was this girl he had hired as the secretary or whatever. And she was very flirty. And sweet and fun to talk to.
Yay.
But as far as Eric knew, we only interacted like maybe 3 or 4 times because of jobs. Yeah. But we started Skyping like a ton. Like we would, or just text, mostly text, which is where you get to fill all your, you fill in the rest because it's all purely text. So you hear her voice and you hear her laughing in between, and it feels like you have this magic relationship.
You're connecting.
And I was lonely. So I had this whole thing in my head, and she already had a boyfriend, and I had it in my head that I was going to get her from her boyfriend. And then we'd call sometimes, and that really made me think, oh man, because she's calling me. And
and I'll bet her
so finally one day I went out there,
texted her. You were like her outlet.
Yeah, well, no, he would get pissed because he'd see that she had been texting and talking to me, and I thought, I'm gonna break him up, and I'll get her. And she was the worst thing for me. She was like recently divorced, clearly like making bad choices, and like just not a good
make a
choice.
Bad choice with me. This is gonna be
I would have been a bad choice too. Yeah. So, but the weirdest part of this whole thing, nobody knew that we talked so much, and that like I had these feelings, and like that, and in my head I thought she had them too. So I went out there on this trip to say, I just want to visit Eric and everybody and just see how it's going. Yeah. So I went out there.
But really it was
the weirdest thing. Yeah. And there was no moment where we could talk. And so the whole time it was just this bizarre thing where I knew that me and her had this online relationship happening. But in real life,
real life, nothing.
Nothing, like just kind of pretending like, oh, nice, cool to finally put a face to a name. It was really the most awkward 2 days of my life.
I love it.
The worst, just the torture I put myself through for this ridiculous fantasy I built up in my head. And also the fact that, Eric eventually did find, because all the text, all the Skype and stuff was on the work computers. So, he's a good friend of mine.
Dude.
And he's like, well, you never even told me. And, I had drawn her this like gorgeous picture of her. Like it was really one of the better drawings I've ever drawn. It was just embarrassing, man. I was just in another world. But I do think it's good for other guys to hear that, who feel like, we all go a little psycho. And just, if you see yourself, don't use those feelings to justify making it even worse, Yeah. If you're feeling that obsessed, because that's the weird thing. I don't know if it was like this for you, but I had a crazy, I was obsessed with my current wife too. But it wasn't quite as psycho though. I don't know.
It was, I'd gone through enough psycho
I guess I gone through
obsessions that by the time I met Angie, I didn't have jealousy to lay off.
And that was the weird thing, because he had been divorced a year ago, and she had a ex-husband who was actively trying to get her back. Yeah. But I didn't have jealousy. Like I didn't have a fear of that happening. Yeah. In general, there was, I did realize like in the middle of it that, that for a lot of women, like there's security and things not changing too much. And I could tell that there was part of her that there was an allure to, if he just said the right stuff, she'd be willing to take one for the team, for the kids, and just go back to normalcy, rather than go out in this unknown world of a new family. And
before you do it, it seems like the most abstract, bizarre thing. Yeah. To go into this new relationship with you.
But so I could see that, but I just didn't have a fear.
I just remember when I dated the beloved Miss Tenaple, first of all, we did break up when I first met her because I did go crazy on her, like just obsessive, ready to lock it down and everything. And she's like, look, I just want to date. It's like we broke up for a year. Then when we got back together, my nature was still to completely go obsessive, compulsive psycho on her. But I had learned the discipline of not doing it.
Yeah.
So I did not do what I felt.
Yeah. Because I had a girl previously who I had gone psycho on for like 7 years.
Yeah.
She was my one that most guys have their one that got away. Yep. That was the one.
When I would make fun of you guys.
Yeah. And you were totally right. That was a crazy one because that one, I had been psycho about her for a long time. And she, this didn't help. One night she said, you know what? I really do believe you're the man I'm going to marry. I just don't know when it's going to happen or how it's going to happen.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot. So you won't date me. So you told me like, just ask her on a date. If she says no, break it off, move on. You're like, that's simple.
Yeah.
So one night I went up to her and I just said, I just want to make it simple. I want to ask you on a date right now.
Yeah.
As friends.
Just a date. I'm going to take you out.
Yes or no? And she said, well, then if it has to be that black and white, then no. And so I said, all right, well then I'm done. I feel like I've wasted so much of my life on this and I'm going to move on. Guess what happens a month later? She calls me up.
I've been thinking about it.
And she says, you know what? I think I would like to say yes to that date.
Oh.
And I was such a man-child wreck that all I could do in response was break down weeping on the phone.
Yeah. You're like,
I'd been through so much. And it turned her off so much. It was so pathetic that date never happened.
I love it. Oh, Ethan, my son, Ed, he's, what is he, 15? He was at a Bible study, the youth group this week. And I said, oh, what'd you guys talk about? He goes, we talked about moments when we were really uncomfortable. And
during the Joker.
Yeah. And I started laughing and because he was telling me some of the stories of the kids there. And I go, did you share anything? He goes, yeah, I don't really like sharing that stuff. And I go, no, it's the greatest stuff in the world to share when you're really uncomfortable. And I told him, when I hang out with my guy friends, that's almost all we talk about is really degrading, uncomfortable times when we were dating girls.
Yeah.
It's the funniest stuff for a guy to share. So when you shared this, just this one memory, and I just think it's so hilarious. I go, that is what guys do is share these awful, uncomfortable. Oh, I shared with him that when you farted and the lady goes up, asked about it, where's the pizza?
Where's the pizza? Classic.
He cracked up.
That's the best story.
Hard in that story.
Well, it was funny because when she said that, because there's been this other aspect to things where she had said that, and I think she was trying to give me a reason, and she's like, just because you're out of shape, and I want somebody that I can hike with and stuff like that, and
that sounds like every guy too. They're like, they're like, I'm in love with her, I'm crazy about her, but she's kind of fat. I want a girl that's going to stay in shape. I'm like, dude. She's going to be scooping poop out of your diapers when you're 80 years old. When you're a wretch.
Yeah.
If you got in a motorcycle accident, were quadriplegic, that fat girl would be carrying you around and taking care of you, and you just be this total cripple. And you're sitting there going she needs to lose a good 10 pounds before I'll marry her. That never made sense to me. Guys are stupid. Guys are psycho.
Yeah, guys are psycho. Me included.
Yeah.
But I actually, it's a long story, but there was another part of this whole thing where I actually lost the most weight I ever lost in my life to try to convince her to date me. I did really good. I got down to for me, it was a lot. I'd lost.
Yeah.
I think I got down to 250, which was for me, I hadn't been that weight since middle school.
No, I remembered when you did that, but still.
No, that was the second time. That was a different one.
Oh, that was so funny.
I've done that a few times. Yeah.
That was the only thing that could break the power of food was love, a broken heart.
Yeah, it was always that. Anyway. Oh yeah. And then there was another girl that I once asked her what she's looking for. And I had become obsessed with this woman named Nicole.
Yeah.
I knew that she liked music. She was a good singer. Too. Yeah. And if she married me, her name would be Nicole. So she'd have to really like me.
That'd be a really rough marriage. Yeah. Nicole.
I started a rock band for her to sing in completely based on my crush on her. So that she'd have to be around me a lot and we would write music together.
Yeah.
What happened was all the guys in the band got crushes on her too. So then I had to compete.
The big giant band fight over the girl.
They all, because it was all guys and her. And they all got crushed. So it became this weird thing where me and all my roommates. But she said she wanted a guy who was tall, dark, and handsome and played piano. So I immediately started taking piano lessons, started losing weight.
And you took tall lessons.
Yeah. And I was like, I count as tall-ish. I'm not short.
How you're the weight. Opposite of tall, dark, and handsome.
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
Blonde, I thought
I could make this happen, but I don't know, because I think dark can come with if you're brooding and cool. So I'm like, I'll have to figure that out. Count. Yeah, I could become goth or something if I could become.
Dye your hair black, put the eye mascara on, wear black all the time. That's dark.
Yeah. So when she'd come over, I'd casually play a little tune on the little piano. Oh, look at these. Oh, there's a piano there. I'll try this out. And she ended up dating everybody else. Every other roommate I had but me.
She got with every guy in the band but you.
Yep. Over the next few years.
Tall, dark, and handsome than
they'd call me up and be like, man, Nicole came to town and man, I don't know what happened. Things just went crazy. We were making out.
I thought you said you like guys with pianos. Why are you with the guy who plays drums?
None of those guys played piano.
Oh, that is so good.
So glad those days are over. As long as my wife doesn't get in just please stay alive, wife. Stay alive.
Yeah, hang in there, lady. That's my thing with Angie too. It's like if she was gone, my life would be over. I have no interest outside of her. My whole world just revolves around my happiness with her. I'm just like, oh, no way. And I even pray to God. I'm like, God, don't take her from me, as if he's the kind of God that just takes someone you love from you just because you love him. Yeah. It's terrible. Oh. Yeah, I can't imagine life without her. She makes me so happy. She's wonderful to me.
She's a great wife. That was an inspiration for me when I used to visit you guys' house. I was just like, man, this is what I'm striving for.
Go easy for you to say that the girl doesn't have to be that good looking, or she can be kind of fat. Because look at your wife. She's amazing. And I go, no, even if she was fat and homely, I'd say the same thing. They go, oh, sure. Easy for you to say.
Yeah. I think that is a thing that you don't get when you're single. That is become secondary very quickly, like the looks and.
Yeah.
But I sympathize with it on the same note, because that was one thing you'd always tell me, and you really were a mentor to me. So I tried to take things to heart, and that was just a philosophy of mine. If somebody's older and wiser than you, and you respect their life, then just do what they say. Just try it. Don't sit around being I have a 13-year-old right now, and she thinks she knows well more about life than me or my wife combined. She's in that phase, and it's like you most of the time you'll do much better if you just listen and try the advice you're given by people.
Yeah, give it a shot,
especially if their life is what you want.
Yeah. So, Jessica's beautiful, but if she became morbidly obese and if she got in a car wreck and was a severe burn victim, a melty girl, you'd love her as much or more.
Right. Yeah. That wouldn't change a thing.
It wouldn't change a thing. So I'm just saying, all you guys are going
But if she was on eHarmony that way, I don't know that we would have ended up together.
Right. If she looked like a hog on eHarmony, you never would have given her a first shot.
And so that's where I say, but even looks because you had said, this is your thing all the time. It could have been anybody. It's just as long as you get along, and you have the same values, and she's attractive to you, then, just do it. Just marry her.
That's right.
And so I had that girlfriend before Jessica. I remember, I won't name any names just to be safe, but she had looks. She was attractive. We had the same values. She really liked me. But man, there was no chemistry there. And just something about it. I just didn't enjoy our time together. I tried so hard. I would go.
Yeah, I remember that girl. She was really cool. And there was no chemistry. So there was just something missing. Electricity, but she was also cute. She was really cute. So it's not just beauty.
But there was a weird disconnect where I just didn't enjoy being around her. And I I would
That's
go.
kind of a problem.
She lived like maybe 5 miles away, and I get so annoyed because she didn't have a car, but I did. So I always had to be the one to drive, and I'd be like, I gotta drive because she doesn't drive. She's an adult. Why can't she just get a car?
Yeah, and she really liked you.
Yeah, she did. I felt really bad when I broke up with her. And I drug
break.
it out. I drug it out for like a long time. But yeah, then Jess, she lived out in Rancho, out here like 50 miles away.
In the boonies.
And I would drive every day. Something was motivating me to drive out constantly. I made this drive all the time in traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I met her too. I go, this is like
and
one of the coolest chicks I've ever met. Really cool.
Are you talking about Jess or previous?
No, Jess. I'm talking about Jess. No, I did. I thought she was really cool.
Yeah.
Cool kid. Just a regular gal.
Yeah, one of the worst things that happened with the girl before Jess.
Yeah.
Well, that was another weird thing. I dated her for I was like a month into us being in a relationship, and I would still forget her name constantly. I don't know why. I forget her first name. I don't know why. So one day we're having a date, and she tells me that she had this cancer, and that it had gone away, or like she was a cancer survivor. And it was right before, and when you're like early on, like I'm bad about praying before meals, but like I'm really good about it when I'm dating early on with a Christian girl.
Yeah.
So it was right before it was time to pray for our meal. So I prayed for our meal, and I was going to thank the Lord that she had survived this cancer. But as I was doing it, I blanked out on her name. So I was like, thank you that she survived cancer. My girlfriend.
Your child.
And I was like, I would have judged every guy so hard for being that way, because I was like, I will treasure my precious. I would never, but it was so weird. I don't know why. Her name, something about it would just like disappear from my mind in the worst moment.
Yeah.
And that was during the Axe Cop days.
A picture of her to you in high school when you were really doubting yourself, and go, one day you're going to turn this, you're not going to be able to remember this girl's name. Yeah. You wouldn't believe it.
Well, we were on the verge of breaking up, and then I had to go do a whole month of Axe Cop writing. Yeah. And so I couldn't break up with her. I just missed my window of opportunity. So then the relationship drug on through this whole extra month.
I remember that too.
Yeah. And then it like renewed when I got back. Cause like, I don't know. Anyway, relationships, bro.
There's nothing worse than being single and dating. That is the worst time, because you're in like this purgatory. It's like you're in middle zone. And I'm just going like, I'm dating this girl, and I'm like, I'm crazy about her. She's beautiful. I don't know if I want to marry her. And then you're just stuck there going like, when's the yes or the no gonna strike me?
I really don't understand people that live together for like years.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I really don't get that.
I'd never live with someone. Ever. There's no, because to me that's marriage. When you're banging each other, when you're the holy of holies, intimate.
You got kids. Like, these people get like full on families. Kids are like, we don't know about marriage, man.
Yeah, loser.
It's just a piece of paper. Well, then go get it. It's just a piece of paper. Go grab it. Go sign it.
Yeah, tear it up when you're done. Just get the piece of paper. No, I can't do that. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, I don't get that at all. I don't get the non-marriage. I know guys too that are that way. I guess. I guess we're all different, because that sure ain't me. Yeah. I was always just marriage bound. I only dated for marriage, like only dated waiting to find out if it was a yes or a no. Yeah. And I would just go, well, that's a no. And then that was it. Relationship. I'm not here to I didn't want to make a friend. I'm not here to make a friend. I usually cut off most contact with the girls who I have dated before, just out of respect for my wife. I didn't want her, having me chum around with exes. Yeah. Yeah, and that was a big weakness of mine, that my low confidence was so bad. I would be the friend. Yeah. Oh, I did that
secretly, too. I had a huge crush. Yeah, the friend door, and then huge crush. I grew up, and one night I was talking to an old friend from high school, a girl that I had a huge crush on secretly, but I never admitted it. And we got in this whole conversation, and I found out that her and every girl that I named that I had a crush on, but never had the guts to ask out. Yeah. And I just had this big, long friendship with them.
Yeah.
hoping that at some point we just start making out randomly or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone on the list liked me too.
Yeah.
They were just waiting for me to say something.
Yeah, there was one girl in high school who was super popular, and this is, long after I'm married with kids. And I said, she said, well, I was a great guy or something like that. And I said, yeah, in high school, I was so intimidated that I could never have asked you out. And she said, I would have died to go out on a date with you.
Wow.
And it wasn't even, she wasn't even saying like she was in love with me. She was just saying she would have totally gone for it. And in my mind, the weird little teenage construct that I put together in my head, where we're all like the massive victim and everyone hates us and no one understands and we're all alone.
Yep.
It's a lie.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the most mind-blowing things that happened to me in high school, because I had gotten through the first 2 years of high school. I was the reject grunge guy wearing Barbie doll heads around my neck because I had given up on the idea that anybody would like me. Yeah. And I was trying to be as hideous as possible.
Self-imposed prison. Total self-inflicted wound.
I had shed that a bit in junior year when I had come to Christ through Young Life and decided to cut my hair and just, I just kind of dressed plain. But I didn't think I was going to have I still hadn't asked a girl out or even attempted anything in that direction for years. I just given up on it since junior high.
Yeah.
Suddenly one day I got asked to a dance by this girl who was the girl who eventually I had like this 7-year insanity with, but this is how it started. She asked me to a dance. She's super attractive. She had been asked to the dance by the quarterback of the football team. Oh, whose dad is like the big surgeon in town, rich quarterback football team. Yeah. She asked me, and her parents are, she's only allowed to go to one dance a year. That's their rules. So her one dance that year, she'd asked me. Fat, weird loser, Ethan. Yeah. So that was crazy to me. And that was, that was a wake up, but also at the same time, it was like, it did start off this weird obsession with her that I thought only she saw me and no one else did, which is the lie that I got out of that.
I always also tore up the pecking order. The pecking order is also only in your head. So the pecking order is, she was even asked by the football player who is the son of a surgeon or whatever, like they're rich and popular. And I always broke that pecking order. And it never occurred to me that there is no pecking order. I was always dating the head cheerleader, the prom queen in college. Like I got these amazing, to a point that like the star basketball players would come up to me and like shake their heads and go, you're like the stringiest, geekiest guy I've ever seen. And you're always getting these girls. And he was talking about the pecking order. And in my head, I believed in a pecking, like, oh, jocks, they get all the girls. No, I'm an artist. And artists never get anybody. And yet when you look back on who you actually ended up dating, you can just blow that pecking order apart. The construct isn't true. Yeah. You can actually go and date the goth. You can date the pop. Not that she'll go with you. Obviously, the girl that I was in love with in high school, the one that I focused on, didn't go for it, but a lot of the other girls would have.
Yeah. So to sum it all up, you don't know who you are, what you look like, or what you're. Just go if you like the girl, ask her on a date. If she says no, move on. That was the best advice I ever got. Yeah.
And the thing I don't understand is going through life alone. It is not good that man is alone. That's in Genesis. Right. It is not good that man is alone. That is a fact. All right. Well, this has been another audio mullet.
Yeah, I'm glad we solved all those problems.
Solve the world's problem. We'll be back next week to solve all the rest of the problems in the world. If you guys have a subject matter you'd like us to talk about, be sure and email us at
info at audiomullet.com. Or you can tweet us.
Or tweet us. Subject matters, audio. Subjects.
Yeah, our Twitter account is @mulletaudio. This is all on our website, audiomullet.com.
Audiomullet.com.
We love getting messages, love getting reviews. We have some great reviews on iTunes. I should read those sometime.
I can't even read them. How do I find them?
Just go to our page on iTunes and they're all on there.
And there's review. Guys, give us some reviews. Give us some, let's hear from you. And on the subject matter, we do funny subject too. So you can do joke subject matter, or you can do serious subject matter. We'll hit anything that's good. We'll do it. We're always looking for 2 subjects a show.
Yeah, we're always looking for subjects. We kind of like struggle. So I'll usually look at what I've been emailed recently. Like here's a recent review. Thank you for doing this podcast. It has become my favorite. You are funny and are not afraid to speak the truth. A real man's podcast. Keep up the good work, gentlemen.
Oh, come on. That so hits my happy little ego. You know what that does when I heard that? It just makes it a little more worth it.
Yeah, there's some great ones in here. This guy says he listens to our podcast as he mows the lawn. People love my epic fart story.
I know. Maybe we'll
this is a part. I actually really like this one. This is from a guy that listens to us who's generally more of a liberal.
Okay.
A liberal Christian guy.
We're sorry, but go ahead.
Hot trash car crash that I can't look away from.
Yep.
The short answer, I love how this show challenges my thinking. Long answer, there are many things I find problematic with the show, but darn it, I appreciate how these guys dig into faith and culture. And more than half of the time I disagree with things I'm hearing, but I really feel like I need this podcast.
Oh, good. I love making something they need. And I can't imagine someone listening to this podcast where they agreed with everything we said. So disagreement.
Yeah. I disagree with half of it.
Half of it. Yeah. It's got to be. We live in a pool of disagreement.
Sweet. All right. Well, you know who listens to us too? That guy from Owl City. You ever heard of that band?
Oh, yeah. I thought he reached out to me once. Owl City. Yeah. He's talked to me before. Yeah,
he tweeted us, and it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, he has like millions of followers.
Yeah, that's how he tweeted us. I'm like, what? You have like 1 million followers. Why are you tweeting at us?
And the conservatarian guy is
John.
Yeah,
we had him on.
Yeah, we had him on.
We're huge.
I listened to his show, so it's only fair that he listened to mine.
Yeah, that's how it works.
And but do we want to get on Ricochet? Don't we want that exposure?
I don't know. I'm still recording.
Yeah, I know. We're allowed to talk about it on the air.
I don't know. I sent him a thing about it, about our, like I made a little presentation thing, and they sent it in, so we'll see.
Yeah, and he's going, I told them.
He's listening right now, maybe.
Yeah, he's listening right now. He's going, I told them, of course I'd be open to putting you on Ricochet. And he's sitting there looking at your presentation going, how do I not answer?
No, he asked me for like a one sheet. So I put together a one sheet that made us sound awesome.
I don't have to turn these guys down.
I put all of Mike's fame credentials are on the one sheet, even though he's never on the podcast anymore.
Yeah, tell him we need to get him on just to bump our credentials up every once in a while to look like we're more popular and important than we are.
Yeah, can you just be on one episode like every few months or something? Come on, geez.
Maybe let's offer to pay him like the other paid podcasts. Maybe then, because Mike and money.
Mike equals money.
Mike, I'll tell him we'll pay him. Let's email him.
If we're going to pay him, we should get somebody bigger on.
We'll pay him to be our friend. Mike, can we pay you to be our friend? Since you won't voluntarily do it, and apparently everyone else who's paying you.
What can you afford? I can afford like $20-$30.
I could do that. I could do 20,000-30,000.
I was going to say, you usually can add a few more zeros than I can.
Yeah. I still think we should jack him somehow by like only having Bridget on, like officially.
Yeah, we got to get Bridget on
and get Bridget on.
Let's do it.
And just throw it, say from now on, the new audio mullet.
Yeah.
Bridget.
I'm down. Or Joel Hodgson, one of those two.
Or Joel would be far meaner. That'd be great. Just to get the Mike versus Joel thing. And I would pull Joel aside and say, Joel, you're only allowed to do unfunny jokes. So make sure that nothing you ever do is funny or witty. And have him just be the most boring Joel that he knows how to be. And tell Mike that we paid him. That'd be another thing that would drive him crazy. Mike, we paid him $20,000. He'd be like, what? I'd be like, yeah, we're paying him to be our friend.
All right. Well, that's all settled too.
That's all settled. This has been Audio Mullet. This is my buddy, Ethan Nicole.
This is my co-buddy, Doug Tenaple.
And we'll be back for another
Audio Mullet. A mullet of audio smashing you in the face. Audio mullet. Short in front, long in back. It's a fact. It's the audio mullet.
Lord willing, if he predestines, we didn't, that's not even this show. That was the last episode, wasn't it? Predestination.
Yeah.
If God wills it.
Right.
We'll be back for another audio mullet.
Goodbye.
All right. Bye. That's a lame ending. Just find a good place to end it.
I'll find it. Pithy.